Hi, welcome back to day 2 of Mappy Hour. We are super glad you guys took a chance on us again for a second day.
Risky. We're back. Risky.
We're back here to talk maps, all things mapping, the map gallery. We've got some special guests for you again. We are super excited to be back, right? I am Edie Punt. I'm a cartographer here, and with me is...
Hi, I'm Ken Field.
And I'm Nathan Shepherd. I'm here for the 3D stuff. And speaking of 3D stuff, we're going to get straight into the map gallery.
Yeah, map gallery.
Map gallery. That was my hair dancing up and down, in case you were wondering. So here we go.
Nice
we're off.
boots as well.
The boots as well.
Yeah.
Got to bring the boots. But so before we show this this scene, this 3D map, which is a scene, Ken.
Oh, what?
Would you agree that 3D is good?
What? Put me on the spot
Good enough
straight
to
away?
vote for, perhaps, as a winner.
Oh, yeah, you know I'm a little bit of a 3D skeptic, but I know which one you're going to pick out today, and it's a good one. I like it.
It was good to put Ken on the spot. It's up and it's spinning already. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So this is the spatial-temporal case study of where the COVID-19 outbreaks were in Japan. It's by Tomoki Nakaya and Shohei Nagata. I did practice that.
That 2 hours prep.
Hopefully I got
off.
that right. I phoned a friend and I think that's right. And it's using a space-time cube. Ken, do you want to explain what a space-time cube is?
Oh, it's just that most maps we have are in the X and Y plane, right? It's just flat. This adds the Z or the Z dimension, and this particular example uses time.
Yep.
For that dimension.
So the higher up it is, the different time it is, or the different time of year.
So you know what I love about this map? I'm not really super comfortable with 3D. I find it sometimes really hard to interpret. It's just not my wheelhouse. But that little slider up in the upper right corner, that thing is genius, because what it does is it brings the base map up to the time level on that grid scale. And that just was like a game changer for me. It made it that much easier for me to understand where those points are in time and space.
Yeah,
so
that's a challenge.
I actually really appreciated that little part of it.
That's a real challenge with space-time cubes, is things go floating up in space. So how do you know where they are? You move the base map up to it. It's got lots of little nice things. The little red clumps show where the most codes were, and you can see just these little bands across. You get an idea of the different surges of COVID that came through here.
Yeah, so I think for me, 3D thematics are really difficult to do. And what this does very well is shows you how to do it well, right?
Yep.
They've stripped out so much to just have the pure, simple basics.
Yep.
But they've done them well with the grid, the frame around it, so you've got a context.
And the color. The color is like really... It's pared down. It's not a garish color scheme where I have to understand a lot of different colors. It's kind of like a lot, some, and a little.
I think we have some more videos. I'm not sure if we're going to show any more of them with a little bit closer in.
And the base map as well, they've pared that right back. They've used a light grey,
nice and simple,
so that the stuff on top, the space-time cube, isn't competing with anything in the background.
Yeah, here we go. So you can also thin down what you're looking at and just look at the worst cases, like where most of the... I guess it's a volume in space and time.
Space and time.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then imagine like bringing that base map up to that time if that was a significant time.
Exactly. So in August, was that really bad, and where was it really bad?
Yeah.
So that's it. That's it for the space-time cube. A really great 3D map.
That was the first one that we picked out then, and the second one we're going to look at is actually America's Red Rock Wilderness Act, and this is by Michael Mason from the Southern Utah Wilderness Alliance, and this is a beautiful poster, I think. It's an infographic. It combines, maps, graphs, charts, text, all in one beautiful composition. So I was really drawn to this.
Yeah, so my first question when this came up is something we're going to talk about is 30 by 30, like north by west. I don't even really know what it was. And then up in the corner, it's just got 30% protected by 2030. Oh, okay, now I get it. And then from that, it's really just what's protected now and what's going to be protected soon.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of talk actually throughout today, throughout the plenary about the 30 by 30 initiative. So I think it's kind of nice that we pulled this one out because it really helps people to understand what does that 30 by 30 initiative really mean.
Right, yeah.
The colors are gorgeous and they make sense for Utah for sure. what worked for me, again, upper right corner, is I think we have a shot of those inset maps on the upper right corner.
Yeah.
Where
there it is.
There it is, yeah. So we got 2 locator maps here, and we talked about this yesterday, you know, kind of at 2 different scales. So we're seeing Utah in the west, but also where it fits on the entire continent. And it's really simple cartography. It's just these flow lines to show migration, and then this extruded polygon on the left for Western Wildway.
Yeah, I mean,
really simple stuff, cartographically speaking, but it speaks volumes.
Yeah, I really liked it too. Like for me, like if we're going to go to 3D again, oh, it's gone. But there it is up the top. So it's the kind of like, it's got a cutout feel.
Yep.
So like, you know, this is a really important part, this biodiversity, the Western states, that Western Wildway. It almost makes you think, if that was chopped out and thrown away, that's what would be left with.
How bad would that be?
Yeah, totally. So I kind of like that.
Yeah, so for me, this actually demonstrates something quite important. I mean, there's the constant myth that cartography is just about picking the right colours, or, you know, sort of just making a map look pretty.
Right.
But for me, the art of cartography is applying the science of design well.
Yep.
And if you do that, then the message of your map or your story is going to be like exponentially better.
Yeah.
You know, it allows the reader to really hone in on what's great. And I think this map is that perfect example of that.
Yeah, and like I said, you know, we've heard so much about 30 by 30 today, throughout the day, and this map really uses a great example of the state to tell that story, I think.
I feel a little bit bad that I admitted I didn't know what 30 by 30 was a few days ago. So,
but then the point of the map, the poster, has done its job, because now you do know.
I do know, and I knew immediately, and then that helps me with the entire map. It's a great map.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. All right, map number 3 is actually, it might be my favorite of the entire map gallery. I really, really like this map. It is the National Park Road Trip Atlas 2021 by David Sherman. And it's just a really sweet story. You know, sometimes maps just tell awesome little stories.
Yep.
And what David did was he was taking his kids on a long road trip through the West. And he just decided to make this series of maps. You can see it's not even a simple, you know, it looks like he did kind of a figure 8 thing. He made a map series, and each page is their route for that day. And it's actually kind of ingenious. If we can go to one of the other images where we're seeing one of the maps.
That was like a big picture one.
Yeah,
and now
so that was the overview.
Okay.
And look at the geniusness here. So this is obviously meant for his kids. But what do kids want to know is like, when are we going to get there?
Are we there yet?
How long are we going to be in the car? The genius of this map is that dashed line that goes through the map that shows their route. So first of all, the purple cities, those are the ones we're actually driving through, kids. The red ones, they're nearby. You might see road signs, but we're not going there. But the dashing is what's genius, because the dash is actually essentially the scale bar. And you know, how fun would that be if your kid, like, oh, we got through that one, I'm going to color that dash, I'm going to color this dash, and you can like see your progress.
So the entire aesthetic is kid-friendly, right? And you know, if you were making a route map for an adult, it's not. It might have the same content, but it's not going to look the same.
Exactly.
So I want the coloring in though.
You can do that.
I totally.
I mean, I really appreciated on this map. This right in the bottom corner. Are we there yet?
Yeah.
You know,
out of the mountains and back in.
You don't want to be.
That's what you want to know with your kid.
Yeah.
You don't want to be driving and have to answer that question. So they've covered it.
Well, they've got both there too. So we're driving 165 miles and it's 4 hours. Like the kids really only care about the hours.
Yeah.
So it's great that it's all there. And then, I mean, Edie, when she was describing this to me, and she goes, and then you can make them color in the line as they go. And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
So the more we looked at this, the more, I mean, I really liked it.
Yeah, I think it was super well done. It's a really great example of understanding your audience.
It's engaging. And it probably saved him a bunch of cash by not having to buy all sorts of other things to keep the kids entertained on the journey.
Yep.
Totally.
Great. Should we move on to?
Yeah, we've got
one more.
We've got one more. Our 4th map.
Okay.
Where is it?
There it is.
Is it a map?
It's a spinning egg of doom.
So this is by Greg Fisk, and it is called Arctic Warming. I'm just going to jump in and say the thing that was so like noticeable for me was this kind of sickly shaped globe, and it looks kind of alarming. And I think that's the point. Like we're used to seeing nice, happy, healthy, blue and green, smooth ball, and this is like, hey, maybe we should be worried.
I mean, on a globe, you know, the bumps of the Earth, the highest mountains, are imperceptible, right? So we use vertical exaggeration to massively distort, and that's a real, you know, standard cartographic trick. Greg's just taken it to 11, just to make the point. And in many ways, it's the same. It's like the 30 by 30. It's almost a campaign poster. It's intended to strike fear into you.
But you notice, like, what a story is being told with almost no words.
Exactly. It's spinning at just the right rate. You can see your part of the world as it comes around. And it's really obvious that the Arctic is in, you know, it's in big trouble.
It looks like a sick planet.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Yeah.
We should probably do something about it.
I could watch that all day.
If only there was some GIS people, like if only there was some technology that could really help solve these kind of problems.
All right, we're going to move on though. Next segment is really one of the best. We are moving on to Ask a Cartographer. Today, our guest is Shannan Gonzales. There she is, yay! Hi, Shannan. So we were hoping you could just introduce yourself and tell us how you got to Esri and when you got to Esri and, you know, how'd you get here?
I started working in GIS as an analyst for a little over 13 years at an engineering firm that did consulting, and I worked in the environmental division. And it was a really neat opportunity because I got to work with maps on things like remediation for groundwater contaminants and chemicals, you know, and how they impacted all these different environmental factors. And we also did a lot of wildlife and rare plant mapping as well to look at, you know, new construction sites and site planning and how those things might cause impacts to things like wetlands and, you know, things like that. So I learned a lot about environmental GIS during those 13 years. But it wasn't until 2017 when I actually got to go to my first Esri user conference. And it was just mind-blowing for me. And sort of on a whim, I ended up going to a session that was called Amazing and Inspiring Maps. And it lived up to its title. You're totally busted. It lived up to its title. It really reminded me of why I got into cartography and mapping to begin with, and just how much fun making maps really is. So for the next 3 years, I became sort of nicknamed the manic sponge, and I just took as much input of cartography as I possibly could. I attended the cartography MOOC. I went back to school to do my master's with cartography. I got as much cartographic literature as I could back here. And I just started trying to create my own sort of creative map. So I would challenge myself by picking a method or a technique in cartography and then try and just make a map of that and see what came out and just have fun in the process, and really tried to enjoy learning and gaining more of that cartographic quality. And then last year in 2020, I got the opportunity to come and work on the map authoring team here at Esri. So it's been amazing.
I can't believe you met Ken and you still wanted to come work with us.
I know.
That's pretty impressive.
Sorry. Maybe you could talk us through a couple of your maps and just show us some of your work.
Sure.
You've got some great maps. Can we see one of them?
Yeah.
Which one are we starting with? Is it Angel's Landing, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, there it
We
is.
can see it over here.
Yeah. So this one, like I said, I was trying to pick different techniques to sort of challenge myself. So this was really my first kind of dive into 3D mapping. And I grew up going to national parks, and I wanted to try and create something that you might find at like the lodge gift shop when you walk in, when you're visiting a national park,
Right.
and those posters that you'd always see. So I thought, well, maybe I'll try and take one of my favorite places in the world. This is Angel's Landing in Zion National Park, and see if I could create one of these kind of, National Geographic or national parks kind of style poster map. So that was kind of my challenge that I was going for with this map.
Yeah, it's really nice. I love it. It's got a character about it and an atmosphere.
Yeah, it is really great.
And I like how it just draws you in. It's like a good photo, like just those lines in it just draw you in. So
I can see, the stuff we did in inspiring maps come straight through in that.
You taking credit, Ken?
No, it was John's bit. I think it was John's bit that did that.
Yeah, there may have been some fireflies floating around in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So now your job is a little bit different, right? Can you
Yes.
kind of just quickly tell us, like, you came in as an environmental geographer and now on the map authoring team. Like, what's a day look like for you?
Well, it's been a completely different side of GIS coming to work at Esri. From going from a completely user side of GIS to then trying to sort of work with a team to think creatively outside the box of what can we sort of put together for our users to inspire new cartographic standards and ways that they can make their own beautiful stories. I truly believe that that's sort of our job as cartographers, and you guys have all been talking about that, but to try and create these visually accurate stories that are translatable. So I think that's why, honestly, I've worked now a lot with styles, and why I really enjoy working with styles is because it sort of gives you this ability to dive and explore creative ways to tell this story and sort of promote these higher cartographic qualities. And you can...
Hey, Shannon, we've got the styles org up on the screen. You want
Yes. So this is
plug that for a sec?
Yeah, so this is the Esri's online, or excuse me, their styles gallery where you can go online and download styles for ArcGIS Pro. And we have creative styles, and then there's also these industry styles. And I really enjoy working with these because they include things like color schemes. So you can go in and download things specifically for like oceanography or scientific maps. But then there's also these standards for things like geological standards as well as color schemes that you can apply. And the great thing about these is once you download them, then you can share them within your business or within your industry. So it kind of helps bring that standard up, and is a great way of sharing.
Okay.
Yeah, we love having you on the team.
Yeah.
Do you have any last advice, for budding cartographers? What would you say?
Sure. Well, I guess I would have three quick things. The first advice would be to not be afraid to sort of challenge the status quo of sort of normal day-to-day mapping routines. Be willing to go after maybe a more improved color scheme and apply those to your industry maps. The second one would be reach out to the cartography community. There's so many, I've been blown away by the amount of helpful people in this community online and through conferences. So don't be afraid to approach cartographers that you admire and ask questions and put your work out there for feedback. And finally, I would say pace yourself. It's easy to fall into this feeling of you need to keep up with all of the different beautiful things that are being put out by the community. So being able to stay inspired but without being too comparative with your own where you are, and just go at a healthy pace for yourself would be
That's perfect. That's perfect. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shannon,
exactly.
thank you so much.
Thanks, Shannon.
It was
Wonderful.
great to chat
Thank
with
you guys for having me, and enjoy all of your Cartographer tea that you have over there.
Oh, pun to finish.
Oh, pun. Thanks so much, Shannon.
So the question today is John still in his shed? John, where are you?
Oh, he is. There
Am
he
I
is.
ever not going to be in my shed?
You need to get an
someday.
outside broadcast crew. That's what you need.
John,
I
I'm
am.
super excited about what you're planning to show us today.
Okay,
Can
thanks.
you
Well,
can
that's
you give us a
generous
little
of you.
intro in the maps?
Yeah,
You're
because I totally
show and
cheated.
telling.
Yeah, you all asked for
You're always
some
cheating.
examples, and I thought, well, why don't I just cheat? This example is a set of posters made for the Swiss-German user conference last year. But the reason it's cheating is because I made 4 posters. Yes, so I snuck in 4 maps in this nugget instead of just 1 map. So
All right, let's see them. We're looking at one right now. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Let's get
This
through
map
them.
uses an Imhoff-like technique. So my only goal is to maybe somebody could look at this and think maybe that's Imhoff-like. It's not not in the same league.
Except it says
but
John
a
Nelson
shadow,
on the bottom.
a shadow of the Imhoff style, which uses beautiful colors and a perceptual feel for terrain.
It's really nice.
Warm and cool.
You nailed it with the labeling, I think, in the Imhoff style.
Oh, thank you.
It's really,
thank you.
really nice.
Yeah, I looked at a lot of Imhoff maps.
Yep.
There's always
Okay, what about this
inspiration-
one?
There's always inspiration to be found in the past. I mean, people have done just masterful work in the past. So this is a map of Germany using a paper cut style. Another terrain map. This is very different from the Swiss map. This is Germany shown as like stacks of paper elevation, like cardboard paper that was cut out and stacked up, like you might see in a gift shop somewhere.
Yep.
Love it.
That one's very cool.
Yeah, another good one.
Yeah. All right. What's your next one?
Okay,
Oh,
this is
Totally
nice.
different.
It's Germany again, but this time instead of paper cut, it's watercolor. It's using watercolor paper and just kind of tinted hues and pencil sketches. But by the way, this is all done in ArcGIS Pro. There's no Photoshop. There's no Illustrator. There's no weird shenanigans happening outside of.
So these styles, like this watercolor, those are available on the org that Shannon just told us about, right?
I like how the contours go into the water, almost like ripples.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's like the modeled way that paint kind of dries on watercolor paper when you're doing your watercolors. Nathan, when you are doing your watercolors, that's how it is.
Yes.
You've got one
do a lot
more.
of that.
He's
One
still
more?
busy coloring in the dashes on the roadmap.
I am. Crayon is about it for me, unfortunately.
3 out of 4 of these are styles that can be downloaded from the resource that Shannon was just talking about. So Shannon and Edie's team is, styles to help you work on making your maps more consistent and sharing your cartographic techniques with other teams and making it persistent throughout. But the one that's not included in a style is the one that was kind of referencing the technique of Erwin Race. So just the wonderful
The upper left, yep.
Yeah, charming hand-drawn topographic relief of Erwin Race. It's impossible for me to approach that, but I can make something that kind of makes somebody think of Erwin Race. That's my goal. And
Well,
really
this reminds me of what Heather talked to us yesterday about, which was, start your map in black and white and use that as a jumping
And sometimes
off
you
point.
stay
Being
there.
inspired by others, it's great.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's it.
John, these are gorgeous.
Thank you.
you for sharing
Thanks,
them.
John.
Thanks for
We
having
asked
me
for 1, we
back.
got 4.
I can't believe
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, John.
Okay. Bye, John. Have fun in your shed. We have Sarah Bell with us.
Hey,
for
Sarah.
our Curiosity segment.
Hi everyone, good to see
Sarah,
you
it's
all.
great to see you.
It's good to see you.
Yeah.
all.
So, why don't you tell us what you do at Esri and a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. Well, I'm the lead product engineer for a product called ArcGIS Maps for Adobe Creative Cloud. And this is a plugin for Adobe Illustrator that connects you to ArcGIS Online. You can use ArcGIS Pro. We integrated that last year. So now ArcGIS Pro users can integrate our tool into their map making workflow. And I'm also a cartographer and a data viz designer. So I'm also a user of the tools that I get to work with.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know we're all fans of your work. You've done some other cool stuff recently, right? Is there?
Yeah, you do a load of hand-drawn maps.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I explore.
Yeah.
I even have this little scribble in the background of an area in Utah. Oh yeah, so this map. This is I used
There it
some
is.
hand-drawn hillshade with graphite on this one, and then did some colored pencil on top of it. And then on top of that, I took a photo of that and put some digital data for the roads and the labels and the rivers and the contour lines.
I cannot believe that's hand drawn.
Yeah,
that's
it's
like
beautiful.
That's
Incredible.
gorgeous.
But what fascinates me, Sarah, is you're just one of many cartographers who have like a day job in the digital world, and then actually make maps as well by hand for fun, using hand-drawn techniques, right?
Right, yeah, I think it goes back to kind of what Shannon was saying about pace yourselves. If you're a cartographer, sometimes it becomes a slight obsession. So even on my free time, I'm exploring different techniques of how to explore mapping. And I really think, because Ken, you said something earlier about, cartography isn't just about the science, it's also the art, it's communicating. And I think a lot of us, Edie has the needlepoint mapping. We got into this field because we are scientifically minded, but we also are creative and we want to explore creativity. So I found drawing maps to actually improve my digital cartography, just because you spend a lot of time getting to know how, oh yes, this is beautiful. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's not yours.
That's not.
No, this is not mine.
That's actually, and that's one. So we all have brought one of these to the set. So this is Edie's.
This is my map. It's actually done in embroidery. So that's
beautiful.
That's thread on cloth.
And I have one to show and tell as well, which was made out of wood.
Well, before we let's talk about the dashed lines that just
I know,
you get
dashed
them there.
lines, you like
get them for free. I love it.
So my show and tell. No, it's fine. We can spend all day talking about needlepoint.
No.
I got the power tools out. Block of wood, a load of screws, bit
I have
of
a
paint.
little more finesse with the needle and thread.
Yeah, I just hammered this into shape. And this is just a map of the election results.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should get back to Sarah. She's the guest.
Sarah, you've got a new book out.
I could look at your
Is
maps.
that true? Can you tell us about your book?
Sure. Yeah, so I just mentioned the tool that I get to work with, ArcGIS Maps Creative Cloud. There is a book that will be out on ebook in September and November hard copy.
Oh, congratulations on getting published.
Thank you.
So I'll go first, if you don't mind. John actually said my final tip earlier. Looking at great maps, he stole it. Yeah, all right. Looking at great maps from the past is a great way to inform your cartography. What worked back then will work just as well now. But I'd also point out that there's some fantastic contemporary cartography. I mean, looking at some of the visual data journalism in the New York Times or the Washington Post or the South China Morning Post or Zeit Online in Germany, they're at the absolute forefront of doing some wonderful work. So there's great work around, and just look at it, learn from it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll go next. So we've seen a lot of 3D today, which is fantastic. Sometimes 3D can tell a story in a way that 2D can't, but it's not always the answer. So I'm just going to say use 3D, try it out, think carefully about when you're going to use it.
Okay, and I'll finish it out. So my tip for today is think beyond the data. So think about, we saw some really great examples today of impressive locator maps, or think about how your legend can work, or what can you do interesting with the neat line. There's more to it than just symbols and data. We didn't get a chance to talk to Sarah about something that she also created, which is really cool. She creates her own fonts and then uses them on her maps. So there's all the periphery to the map that can really make or break your map. So that is my tip.
Cool.
And I think we're
That's it.
I think we're out for day 2 Mappy Hour.
Thanks for joining us again.
Thank you so much.